Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Bar Podcast. I'm John.
I'm Justin.
I'm Billy.
How you guys doing this week?
Goes.
Yeah. All right.
About
Been
to
better.
start my first week on call. Gonna be fun.
Well, I went to Fright Kingdom Friday for the first time in probably fucking 9 years.
Is it
They
still as
really
good?
changed it up. Oh yeah. You start outside, then it goes into like the ticket queue, then it goes right into the first. It's all
Still a good
Yeah.
singular line right through.
Yeah.
It's good.
all right. A little bit of housekeeping. So last Sunday night we had the Chainsaw Awards on Shudder, the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. So I'll just say it up front. Billy won with 10 correct answers. I was in second with 8 correct answers, and Justin was in third with 7.
God, I got 7 of them? Damn. I was hoping for an over.
So we'll run through the winners real quick, and then best supporting performance: Alyssa Sutherland for Evil Dead Rise. Best first feature: Skinamarink.
All that one.
Best nonfiction series or miniseries: The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
That one.
Best documentary feature: The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Best creature effects: Evil Dead Rise, Adam Johansson and Damian Martin, Odd Studio. Best makeup effects: Evil Dead Rise, Luke Hoyte. Best costume design: Poor Things, Holly Waddington.
Shouldn't have been in there.
Best video game: Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Best cinematography: Poor Things, Robbie Ryan. Best score: Godzilla -1. Not even going to try that name. Best Felissa Rose movie: Craving. We didn't vote on that.
That wasn't in the list.
Best television series: The Last of Us.
Chucky got robbed.
I knew that.
Editorial Eye on the Future: Dwayne Perkins and Vision Video. Best screenplay: Late Night with the Devil, Colin and Cameron Carnes. Best international movie: When Evil Lurks.
Yep.
Best limited release movie: I Saw the TV Glow, Suitable Flesh Was Robbed. Best streaming premiere: VHS 85. Best kill: In a Violent Nature, the Yoga Kill. That wasn't one of the things we voted on.
Yeah, but everyone knew that was going to win anyway.
Best lead performance: David Mulchin from Late Night with the Devil. Best director: Lee Cronin, Evil Dead Rise. Best wide release movie: Godzilla -1.
Told you.
And that is it. So I think they're gonna have a lot of contenders next year. All right, another news.
Running Man has cast Josh Brolin as the villain opposite Glenn Powell for Paramount and Edgar Wright's new reimagining. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's really high on this Glenn Powell, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's a Stephen King book movie, so I'll watch it.
Yeah, hopefully it's if they do with it like they did Salem's Lot, boy.
Oh, it's supposed to be more like a story. It's going to be more like the actual story than Arnold's movie, which was nothing like the movie book.
Is that the one in the future when he's like on a game show?
Yes.
Yeah. Such a great movie.
All right. Now it's time for
John Divine the
Coming attractions.
I found
Yeah.
the button. It just wouldn't push. All right, new trailers. What do we got?
Oh, we're starting with a Heavier Trip, November 29th. Looks like a dark comedy about a heavy metal band that breaks out of prison to play the Wacken Festival. Which I want to see it. It looks good. I don't know. I know you
Looks
have no
interesting.
interest, John. I want to see this.
Yeah,
Piques my interest.
it didn't capture my attention at all. That was just a trailer, so. But I'm sure you fuckers will make me watch it at some point.
Yeah.
And then on February 21st, we have The Monkey.
It's by the guy who did Long Legs.
Yeah.
Well, one of the producers or something.
Yeah. But this looks interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah, the guy running around with his head on fire. That's always it.
Yeah.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Hell to the yeah. Next, coming soon, we have midgies. Scottish flies coming at you. See, like they're bad enough. I hate little flies when you get a big swarm, but not enough to kill me. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Scottish people, so it seems pretty funny.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll give it a watch. It's
That'll probably be a wait for release on home video or digital.
yeah.
Wow, that's what everything is.
I don't think it's getting a theater release. So. All right, next up we got Rippy on October 18th, or as I call it, Kangaroo Jack Goes Rabid.
It was only
Maybe.
a matter of time before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the second one of these that is coming out. Like, wasn't there another one that we saw a trailer for a little while ago that was similar with the kangaroo going crazy?
Well,
It might have been the teaser trailer for this.
It might have been.
maybe. I mean, kangaroos, they aren't very nice animals anyway. They will mess you up.
You ever seen the video when the kangaroo got the dog in the headlock and the owner comes up and like punches him? And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when Hunter had his ear issue earlier this year, he was telling people he fought a kangaroo and lost. Where the fuck do you come up with this shit?
He's awesome. That's where.
And then
Good way to
December
look at
3rd.
it.
The what?
It's a good way to get out of it.
Yeah.
Good explanation.
The movie I'm excited for, December 13th, The Man in the White Van. This looks interesting.
Is this a documentary?
I believe this is the first movie that's backed by that Legion M, the fan films, like the fan movie production company.
Oh,
See advertisements for on Facebook all the time. Well, maybe that's just me.
probably just you.
So, yeah, this looks interesting. It's not a documentary, Justin, jackass.
December 6th, we have Werewolves, which has one of John's favorite actors,
Fuck him.
Frank Grillo, going up against a bunch of werewolves.
Fuck Frank Grillo.
That's his. I don't know.
Arch
I don't
nemesis.
like him. Yeah, it's like it's just.
Like how Peter Griffin is with James Woods being Frank Grillo.
Well, James Woods gave him a reason.
I don't like the guy. I think fucking full of himself.
Oh, this looks good. Old disease turns everyone into werewolves.
Sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
I want to see it. All right, next up, coming soon, Street Trash. It's another overly gory social commentary movie by the guys who did Fried Barry. Yeah, I'll watch it. I am watching it.
Yeah, this
Looks like a lot of good practical effects and put up by Bloody Disgusting. They usually do pretty good work.
Yeah, what is Bloody Disgusting done besides Terrify?
No, there's been other things.
And then on December 6th, we have Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties.
Trailer Park Boys, baby.
So fucking stupid.
Oh, please.
I don't know nothing about it.
Never? You never watched the Trailer Park Boys, Justin?
No.
Oh, you'd love them. They're great. There's a shit tornado coming, Randy Bo Bandy. Come on.
A bunch of river pickles. Oh, November 1st, we have the Doc of Chucky documentary about Chucky, one of John's favorite subjects.
I think this is Shudder's way to getting in the Chucky business.
Yeah, like I said, be a good place for him. You can show the episodes on Shudder and AMC for the network. Get them back. Get it back on the air. It needs to be there. All right. Last up, we have missed from last week was Screamboat coming January.
Another Mickey Mouse horror movie.
Yeah, this one looks all right. Pretty well done.
Yeah.
And who's it by? Bloody Disgusting.
Oh.
So there you go.
They'll just stick their name on anything these days.
Yep.
Oh, John.
They're rolling in that terrifying money.
Yeah. Hey, it made a lot of money. It's like over 40 million after 2 weeks.
Number one movie in the box office.
Well, now it's 3.
Oh, it's number 3 now?
It was number 3 this past weekend.
What was number 1?
Smile 2, then The Wild Robot. But they're saying a lot of the things, a lot of like the kids,
yeah, buying
like
tickets to the Wild
tickets
Robot.
to Wild Robot to go see Terrifier, sneaking a Terrifier. So
Kids are smart nowadays, aren't they?
still ain't getting by me.
Yeah, right.
Uh-uh.
They could walk in a Terrifier shirt with a ticket for Wild Robot. You'd be like, oh, enjoy the movie.
Oh, I'm a hard ass.
It's not like he could run them down.
I don't have to. I know where they're sitting.
Not if they're in a different movie.
I know. I'll find them. I find them. Don't you worry.
Go in there and be like, all right, these are all the seats that weren't sold.
Exactly.
The fucking place is full. You're like, oh, God. I said there were 20 empty seats.
Remember that time we went to the movies and we had to sit on the stairs? What was that for?
No?
One of us sat on the stairs.
I sure as fuck didn't.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you, Billy. It was obviously Justin.
Was it
All right. What do we watch this week, Justin?
Let's see. What did we watch this week? I watched The Nightmare on Elm Street twice. I watched the 84 and I watched the 2010 one. Woo!
Is that it?
Good stuff. Even the dog laughed at it. I have time.
All right, Billy, what did you watch this week?
Well, I started with Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, went to A Nightmare on Elm Street 1984, then continued on with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Then I took a break from Nightmare on Elm Street and watched The Running Man, which we talked about earlier. Then after that, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and finally I finished up this week by watching Salem's Lot 2024, which I really liked. I thought it was really well done. Really good.
It's a very good movie.
I got to go back and rewatch the original now.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a big week. I watched The Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 and Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. And that's it.
The same amount as me? Wow.
I had absolutely, positively no motivation to do anything this week.
Those are fun weeks. I like those weeks.
Yep.
I did watch King of the Hill, though. I'm up 5.5 seasons, so. But I'll pick up my slack this week, I'm sure. All right. And now it is time for
Horror Head to Head.
It is time for a special double feature head-to-head presentation. In this corner, we have in Wes Craven's classic slasher film, several Midwestern teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, a disfigured midnight mangler who preys on the teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them in reality. After investigating the phenomenon, Nancy begins to suspect a dark secret kept by her and her friend's parents may lead to the key to unraveling the mystery. But can Nancy and her boyfriend Glenn solve the puzzle before it's too late? It's A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. And in this corner, teenagers Nancy, Quentin, Chris, Jesse, and Dean are all neighborhood friends who begin having the same dream of a horribly disfigured man who wears a tattered sweater with a glove made of knives. The man, Freddy Krueger, terrorizes them in their dreams, and the only escape is to wake up. But when one of their number dies violently, the friends realize that what happens in the dream world is real. And the only way to stay alive is to stay awake. It's A Nightmare on Elm Street, 2010.
All right, time for the tale of the tape. Release dates. We have for the original November 16th, 1984. The remake was released on April 30th, 2010. Both movies rated R. Run times are similar. For the original, we have an hour and 31 minutes against an hour 37 minutes. So pretty close. The original was directed by Wes Craven. The remake was Samuel Bayer. Budgets. 1984, $1.1 million budget. The remake had a $35 million budget. But the box office, $57.1 million for the original, compared to $63 million for the 2010. I mean, if you jack that up for inflation, it's probably over the remake, which is impressive.
Percentage-wise, it trounced it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the original trounced it.
Plus, there weren't as many theaters around back then either.
Yeah, true. And currently streaming, the original was currently streaming on Max, and the only place I could find it where you didn't have to pay for it was Philo. So you whatever that is, I've never heard of that.
Just another streamer. All right, our cast of characters for 1984. We have the classic Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, Johnny Depp as Glenn, John Saxon as Donald Thompson, Amanda Weiss as Tina, Sue Garcia as Rod, Ronnie Blakely as Marge Thompson, Sandy Lipton as Mrs. Lance. For 2010, you had Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger, Kyle Gallant as Quentin, Katie Cassidy as Chris, Rooney Mara as Nancy, Connie Britton as Dr. Glenn Holbrook, Kellen Lutz as Dean Russell, Clancy Brown as Alan Smith, and Thomas Decker as Jesse.
All right, let's get it on.
Thank you, John.
Okay, so the synopsises of both movies are pretty much the same.
Yep, very similar. Very similar stories.
And
even some of the kills are similar.
Yep. You know, kids dreaming about this burnt, disfigured man that haunts their dreams. But when they die in the dreams, they die in the real world. Or whatever happens in the dreams happens in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off the synopsis, which one would you lean towards? Based off of what I read earlier.
I'd go with classic. Even says classic slasher.
Yeah, I mean, the remake synopsis wasn't as in depth as the original.
No.
But I think the longer that it's around, the longer the synopsis is going to get, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I know that the remake gets a lot of hate. A lot of, you know, or is it? I didn't think it was too bad.
No. All right, let's talk casting. So, Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger.
It's his classic role.
Yeah,
legendary.
and I know he was recently asked if he had one more in him, and he said,
He said
maybe
no.
something small.
He said he couldn't do the fight scenes anymore. Not at his age.
How fucking old is he?
He's fairly old now.
Yeah, he's in his late 70s.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it is a little weird seeing the kid from the original Bad News Bears
being
as Freddy Krueger. So
yeah, I thought he was a pretty good Freddy though.
What else was he known for? I know he did Watchmen.
Rorschach.
Yeah.
Watchmen.
Those are the two I know.
Yeah.
I mean, like over the last month, we've discussed a lot of these like newer reboots, reimaginings, and they all seem to do the same thing: take a more bloodier, twisted turn than the original.
Yeah. Oh, this one, yeah. I mean, the scene at the end of the remake where, when the original Nancy's mother gets pulled into the window, and it's very like cartoony.
Yep.
Whereas in the remake, it's Freddy's glove comes through the mirror and just like jabs her through the skull, and you see the blades coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more bloody, much more violent.
Hey, but they both still had, the explosion of blood from the beds and, the chick getting dragged across the ceiling, leaking blood everywhere. So, I mean, they're both
pretty bloody,
pretty gory. And, I mean, as compared to the others, it's the goriest so far on both accounts. I mean, both the original and the remake are far bloodier than any of the other ones.
Yeah.
And they definitely told more of Freddy's backstory in 2010 compared to 1984.
They always do. That's the other trend that seems to continue is they get more into
character development.
The character development, whereas in the original that took, a few movies to get through some of those kinds of details. They got him into that first one, and I mean that's where I just wish that they'd used someone who was a bit more like Robert Englund.
Yeah.
He's got a good voice, but he doesn't have a good delivery for those like Freddy jokes that you want.
Yeah, well, remember the first one, he wasn't really jokey.
Yeah.
No, but he still had a way of delivering what he was saying with that Freddy pizzazz.
Yeah, well, I think no matter who you got for the remake, they were never going to be able to live up to Robert Englund.
You can, do it in your own vision, but sometimes it's...
Which is what I think he tried to do, but...
Go ahead, Billy. Continue your thought.
Yeah, I didn't hear what your thing said, John.
Yeah, I love
ugly little shit.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I don't think, Jackie really stood a chance no matter what.
No, I mean the only good thing about
him and
like they tried to make Freddy more scarier in the 2010.
Yeah.
And when he gets the deep voice,
it might just be that like I think with the 2010 Freddy, his face looked more like it had been like shrunk up. So, like his mouth seemed a lot smaller, his eye holes seemed a lot smaller, and the original Freddy was more just like a face, but just peeled skin with smooth parts. You know what I mean? And then that kind of delivery, I think, makes a difference. I didn't really like the look of Freddy's face it didn't seem scary to me. It just seemed more like he was like somebody cut some holes in some tissue paper that was wrapped around his face.
Yeah, I think they were going for a more scarier.
Yeah, it's kind of like an attempt at realistic.
Yeah.
you know, and
When you
Yeah.
see burned people, who have really bad burns, they don't look like Robert Englund Freddy. They
Yeah.
look more like
Yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley's Freddy.
You know who auditioned for the role of Freddy Krueger first?
Who?
Kane Hodder, real life burn victim.
Hmm.
But they went with Robin instead. And, I mean, it was a good choice. He lasted there's 9 or 10 of them
Mm-hmm.
something like
that he
that.
starred as. Another one of those movies where they consistently kept the same people and
Yeah.
Which works out good. So how about the lengths of the movies? It was an hour and 31 for the 1984 and an hour and 38 for the 2010.
Perfect.
And those 7 minutes made a big difference.
Well, I think that was a little more of the backstory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about the backstories that we have of Freddy? 1984.
He was a
It
child
doesn't re-
killer.
The what?
All you know is he was a child killer.
Yeah, you don't learn a lot until the later sequels. But in 2010, you learn that he would take pictures of the kids and that he was chased into a warehouse by the parents and set on fire by them.
Dude was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was a straight up pedophile.
Yep.
Which, makes it so as you're good with what the parents did. And
Yeah, you don't feel bad.
still want to see him die.
Yeah, you can't really root for that, Freddy.
No.
What are some other
they
noticeable
made him,
differences?
look all lovable and all that in the gardening scene and all that. So, yeah.
And the fact that the kids are able to block it out for so long, and I think he says it in the trailer, like back to remind you. What the fuck is he?
He's always with his "you don't remember me."
Any other noticeable differences between the two movies?
I mean, a lot of the deaths were
Yeah, they're similar. Well,
similar.
I think the newer one also tried to have, more realism in like the sleep deprivation department,
Yeah.
where like they were starting to dreaming even though they were kind of awake because their mind's starting to go. Don't even realize it.
I've done that a few times. Some long days.
Could be like long weeks, John. It takes a few days to get.
Yeah. Was there a long enough period in between the two movies?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
about the same as all the other ones. 30
Yeah.
years.
And you think we'll see another remake or a reboot?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Probably because that one failed so
Yeah. They'll have to
in
do
their
something.
eyes. I mean, it made its money back and more, but to them it was a fail.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
always talk about a new one. So, I mean, it's a license that brings in money. People
I mean,
love the Nightmare
nowadays
on Elm
it's
Street.
like Nightmare on Elm Street is something that that would make a good streamer show instead of just a straight up movie.
Get more of a
You
backstory.
could do so much more with it. It'd be so much more detail and all that you could do.
Kind of like with Chucky.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I mean,
Interesting.
the thing seems to be that when they come out with these series now, it's like prequels to how it became to that movie.
Yeah.
The Crystal Lake that was supposed to come out for Friday the 13th. Welcome to Dairy for Pennywise.
Oh, it was the Bates Motel for Psycho.
Yeah. Kind of shows that build up as to how he becomes the character that he is in the movie.
Yeah, but I want them on the streamers so they can go with all the, the stuff that makes them great. The kills, the violence, the gore,
The jokes.
jokes.
Would you rather that they did like a prequel series to the 84 or the 2010?
They'd have to make it their own.
Yeah.
I think if they went the 84 route, they could show like the lighter side of Freddy when he's funnier and.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
this day and age, you're not going to get around having him not wind up having been a pedophile as his backstory.
Just a straight killer.
That's, it's the way you get in kids' dreams these days, I guess. That's the fear among
Parents.
the sheep.
I mean, nowadays it would probably be like one of those internet folklores.
The creepypasta.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And that's how he is able to get into their dreams.
Well, I mean, that would be an interesting add to the Freddy thing because he's only there because he's in their memory. According to the original, people have to remember him for him to come back. Him getting on the internet, you spread him out. It goes from A Nightmare on Elm Street to A Nightmare on Every Street.
Yeah.
So there's, inject a little internet in there and.
So we've talked about, there's a lot of similar kills. Which one had the better kills? I think 84 because it's more practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Glenn's death there, getting pulled through the bed and just the gallons of fake blood shooting up into the ceiling. They all did that just with an upside down room. Cool.
Yeah. Major differences between the two, a little more backstory in the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
As there always is.
Which one had the better story, in your opinion?
I mean,
very similar. Yeah, I did like that. I think the story fleshed it out a little bit more in the remake.
Yeah.
It makes just one of those things that's, when you have the money.
Yep.
These are all, it'd be nice if, like, one of these directors who did that movie said, give me the money, I want to do it again. And he did it the way he would want to do it with the money that he could have and, really get it fleshed out. And I think that'd be cool. All these classic directors that did these things. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, Wes Craven can't because he's passed.
Well, I know. But, the ones who are still there.
Yeah.
Come on, John Carpenter. We're talking to you. Get back up. Make another movie.
Give them the budget. Give them the.
Yeah, because obviously they made money.
Get the rest of their story in there. So many of them end with, blah. So let them get their story in there.
Which one had the better ending?
Well, I'm sure they don't want to. I mean, they're kind of the same.
Yeah. At the very end, literally.
But, I mean, having the claw go through the face is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
A little more bloody than being pulled.
Than the fake doll getting pulled through
It's a wee bit more, jump scareable.
So obviously we have the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Which had
Well, you had the 5 numbered ones. You had Freddy's Dead, which was the 6th one. And you had A New Nightmare. Then you had Freddy versus Jason. And then you had the remake. There you go, all 9.
You think we'll ever see a sequel to the remake?
No, too late
Long
now.
enough.
We haven't by now. I can't even tell you the last thing that what's his face was in. Jackie Earl.
Oh, well, I mean, the girl who played Chris, that's
Yeah,
David
Black
Chapman's
Canary.
daughter. Yeah,
It's Black Canary on the Arrow.
on Arrow. Rooney Mara, she was the girl with the dragon tattoo in one of them movies, and she's done a lot of few horror things too. Kellen Lutz, he couldn't act, so they just killed him off in the beginning. That was nice. They just used him to get the Twilight girlies there. And I mean, come on, Mr. Krabs,
Yeah, I know. Money.
Vernon and Freddy. That's always
Yep.
good. Although, I don't know if you noticed, but 1984 had the lady from Insidious as
Ben Shay, yes.
the teacher there.
Fucking
Lynn
young
Shay.
as hell too.
Uh-huh.
But John
Sounds like-
Saxon, come on, he was in all those
Crap, I know that voice.
those Bruce Lee movies.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Introducing Johnny Depp.
Yeah, first.
So originally in 2008, Michael Bay and his Platinum Dooms production company began the process of rebooting the Nightmare on Elm Street
Thank
franchise.
God he didn't do it.
Yeah.
It had just been explosions. Freddie would have just been like, and the people would have just like, boom!
Producer Brad
I'd
Fuller
pay for that.
Yeah, like that.
they would follow the same tactic from the Friday the 13th remake and would abandon things that had made the series less scarier. The film's antagonist, Freddy, would not be cracking jokes as it had become a staple of his character, the focus on making a horrifying movie. Which goes back to that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But I like having that twinge of humor in the horror movies.
Yeah.
You know, lighten it up a little bit.
Like you see that even now in Terrifier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When Art sees Santa Claus, that's
Look at how much money that shit's making.
I know, huh? Killing it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, John?
Which one is better, 2010 or 1984?
Oh, 1984.
84.
So many
No doubt.
pieces of the new one are better, but overall, like as a package, I'd rather watch 1984.
Yep.
All right, Justin, give us some ratings.
Well, for 1984's original, IMDb gave it a 7.4 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes a 93 out of 100, and Letterboxd a 3.7. What say you, Billy Bob Mingles boy?
I say 4.5.
John Joe?
4.5.
Well, we'll just be the three amigos. We'll give that 4.5.
Oh, wow. We all agreed on something.
2022, IMDb gave it a 5.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes a 14%. Letterboxd 2.1. Oh, 2010. Yeah, I see that. Sorry, my bad. 2010. See,
Oops.
you write it, I read it. Billy, what say you to 2010?
3 3/4.
John?
2.5.
Ooh, I split the difference. 3.25.
No, I can't remember. Last week at the end of the episode, did we tell the Kyle story?
No.
No, I think we told
so.
Billy.
You were going to
Okay. Yeah, we told Billy off mic. So,
All right.
you know, it became our responsibility to watch after Kyle when I got out. And so whatever we wanted to do, he would do because he wanted to hang out with us, I guess. He regrets this. So we're like, oh, we're going to go see.
Immediately.
Yeah. So whenever there was a new horror movie, we go to the movies. Most of the time, Kyle would not go. But So he joins us for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And we're kind of watching him during the movie to see how he's reacting, his first horror movie or whatever. And, he did okay in the theater. We get in the truck, like, oh, what you think? Oh, it was okay. It wasn't scary. So we get home, and Kyle goes to bed. We go downstairs to the basement, and I come up to use the bathroom. And I'm walking out. I open the bathroom door, and there's Kyle walking with his pillow and his blanket down the hallway to my father's room, knocking on the door. Dad, I sleep with you. I'm having nightmares. So, of course, the next one, what the fuck did you take your brother to last night? What's the matter with you? Why would you do that? Like, we fucking told him it was going to be scary, but he still wanted to. We tried to get him on here to see if he remembers that, but he's too busy.
Oh, well.
It's almost as bad as the time we lost him at the water park.
Oh.
We found him.
We didn't lose him. We just weren't used to seeing him with his hair wet.
Yeah.
Fucking standing in front of us the whole time.
All right. Next week, we will be covering the 30th anniversary of one of the all-time greats, The Mask. Starring Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Plus, at some point, you'll get your head-to-head special edition Halloween 1978 and 2004. Woo-woo!
Yeah, that'll drop on Halloween Day.
If John remembers.
Oh, no, John, remember. John's off on Halloween, so that's the first thing he's doing the night before is editing and getting it up. And that'll be our last head-to-head for the year.
Oh.
We can go back to watching the movie a week. But we got some good ones next month.
Starting off with a banger.
The Mask, UHF.
Mm-hmm. Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, that doesn't really hold up, but
Yeah.
I don't care.
Peak Ski. I remember what the other two were.
Oh, Junior.
Yep,
Dumb and Dumber.
Didn't we do Dumb and Dumber already?
no, we did Ace Ventura.
Can't access it. But yeah, so November should be a fun month. And then in December, we return back to horror as we go to Christmas horror movies. Good, because
it would be nice to have a palate cleanser in between.
Yeah, I need a break from horror. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for joining us today.
Before we go, find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and most places you listen to your podcasts.
And don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated on future episodes and join the conversation. You can find us on X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at movie_bar_pod and at the Movie Bar Podcast on Facebook.
Until next time, keep the popcorn popping and the reels rolling. We will catch you next week on the Movie Bar Podcast.
Ready for your thoughts.
Should have got the welcome to primetime, bitch. Come on.
How sweet.
Sounds like a video game clip.
Die, you little bitch. Asshole!